Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're well. Damo, hope you're well. Ian Fincham, hello. Pork Markets, hello. Peter Backhouse, hello. Hope you're well. Fill your boots. Chris Osborne, AG47, David. Now then, we've got a now then. That's a whole thing, Damo. David Hardwick, hello. John C, hello. Andrew Thornhill, Patrick Harvey. Hope you're well. Alan Campbell, hello, son. Jason Caton, Chris Wilkinson, Paul Hill, lovely to see you. Martin Wathy, the old Lincoln, just about to get over the line. Shem, hello. North London Derby week, of course, you appeared. Shem, I do hope you are very well, my friend. Ken, hello. ADB, hello. Declan Carr, hello. Johnny P, hello. Hope you're well. Dave Cass, Alex, and Goober, hello. Right, hope you're all well. I'm going to run you through a couple of bits this afternoon. Rather than just putting the screen up, just going to try and explain a little bit more what I do. I've changed my punting quite considerably over the last 2 years, and more so over the last sort of 6 to 12 months, pretty much up to now, when I've had time to do it. And I'm going to just explain a bit of my thinking behind that, try and share some information I'm going to give you who trade gold markets. One of the best bits of advice that I've probably ever given. I've only come across this myself over the last 12, 18 months. But I'm going to try and show you some evidence of it. And then we'll pull the screen up and we'll take these English games through the second half and perhaps see if there's anything in Germany as well in the second half. As always, feel free to ask questions, like and subscribe. Evening, Kerry. Hope you're well. Phil Hughes, Richard Harrison, Stu B. They're all in. All the Gooners are in North London Derby week. The whole Gooner crowd's turned up, and it's like ganging up on me. Headmaster's in, so I've got to behave myself. Hello, Headmaster. Hope you're well. And pretty lovely to see you. Right, I'm going to switch as per normal. It won't be a streamlined process. I'm going to share a screen with you. Is the secret. No, there's goals in Holland and goals at Southampton. That's the only two things you can bank on these days. Afternoon, Andy. Right, where are we going? We are going to here. Right, I'm bringing up a sheet that I've shown many times, but I'm just going to talk you through it and lead you into something. He says, share screen. Which one do I want? I am over there. There. Right, so what I'll do, I'll make that a bit bigger. I'll get myself out of it so that I disappear. So if I do that there, and I'll give it a bit more screen room. So this sheet I've talked about, mentioned it loads of times. Some of you have seen it, some of you have used it. Afternoon, Neil Penny's joined us from his he's joining us from his old drug run in Colombia. Neil Penny's got a couple of panniers, couple of saddlebags of cocaine running around Colombia, the boy. Hello, Neil. Hope you're well. And Saxy, hello. Those two coming in together. How unusual. Right, so what this sheet does, basically, this runs on FTS Data Advanced. I had it built. It's called, I didn't name it, never need Ian again. Chris basically did, who built it. We had 29 goes at it before we got to the end. I've explained all this, but what this enables me to do, it works off FTS Data Standard. Oh, nice, gold at Bolton, handy. It works off FTS Data Standard, so that the FTS Data Standard database goes in here. That all just works off a front end. If I move that out of the way, I'll close that for a minute. And then I can pull in the day's fixtures. And I can go on to cells, for example. If we just go down to the Premier League, if I can find it. West Ham today were priced 2.8. I can click on that cell, get my analytics overlay up, and click team and see how often have West Ham been priced between 2.76 and 3. They've been priced only twice, and they've only won one of those. So it just tells me, and obviously if you backed them in both those games, you'd have had a profit and loss of 0.76. And then I could look at it on the league level for the Premier League if I wanted to. And it tells me there's 101, 35 winners. If you backed all those 100 games, you'd have lost 2 points. So it was kind of a stretch on the home gains method, looking that. If you don't know about that, it's on the Kevin Kelly videos on YouTube. I've talked about that loads of times, back in the home team greeting up when they take the lead. And I wanted to be able to do it in other markets, and I wanted to do it not just on odds, I wanted to be able to do it on XG. So we can go back to that West Ham Palace game. I can say, for example, I want to look at first half goals. I can scroll down here, he says. I'm good at using this, and I can scroll down here. Let's do it that way. I want to lay a first half goal, so I can go first half goal under 0.5 lay. I can click that, and it will tell me what odds it is today. So it's between 3.51 and 4, and I could go into league and go XG, and it basically tells me when the teams in this odds bracket. So in the Premier League, where the odds XG bracket's between 301 and 3.5. The odds bracket for laying under 0.5 is 3.51 to 4. There's been 77 games in that make up that profile in the Premier League. 59 winners, strike rate of 77%, high odds 4.28. You'd look at see what they were today, and if you'd laid a goal in all those games, then you would be 8 points. He's got to go. So cheers, Alistair. You would be 8 points up. So that was what I had the sheet built for, and as I say, you can pull in today's fixtures pre-game and do all that, and then the problem with that, which is how we ended up getting to version 29, was that's all great, but what on a busy Wednesday, not on a busy Saturday like now, we've got like 40 games going at the same time. Clicking round here, trying to find the information and act on it was just far too cumbersome. It's fine on a midweek day when you've got 5 games in the evening, you've got all day to do it. But on a busy Saturday when it's starting at, this morning 10:30 in Turkey, 12 o'clock, I wasn't able to do it. So I went back to Chris and said, yeah, it's great. It does everything I want, but it's just too much. There's too much information. There's too much to use. And I was kind of having to pick and choose, which I don't really like doing very much because you always end up picking the wrong ones. So I basically had him build in a scan facility, which enables me to key in the stuff I've just done here. In effect, I can set it all up, get it to scan all the fixtures, all the markets, and print me out a sheet. And I've been doing that since October 2023 now. And what it's enabled me to do is build up a load of sheets. So you can see this one. If I just clear this sheet, build up a load of sheets of data. So I've built up over 8,000. I've got 4 of these sheets. One's got 20,000 games in. This one's got over 8,000 games in it, he says. And I'll go to the bottom. We've got 8,500 games. It's been enabled me to build it up, a load of data across all the markets. You can see here in this market column Q, I've got first half goal, both teams to score, home win over 1.5, first half 0.5. So I've set up things that I'm looking for. Give me a number of games, give me a certain amount of profit across XGs and across team performance, league performance. So I've been able to set all this up and just accumulate a load of data. And it was pretty clear from sort of April onwards, when I'd sort of had 6 months of it under my belt, that this is the way that I need to go. I want to go with my punting. And in that results sheet, what it basically does, it ties into FTS Data Advanced. And one of the key things I wanted to know, and I'd always been curious. I've talked about this quite a bit. I'd always been curious what happens if you back goals. Let's say you want to back over 2.5 goals, and you make that decision at 7 in the morning. So many of you I've shared. There's other videos of me sharing that routine where I get up and get a list in the morning. What happens though if that market moves during the day? And it can only do three things. It can stay the same, it can drift out, or it could come in. And I never had the data in a format to be able to confirm that if you follow the drifters, you're probably going to struggle. And if you use the ones that come in, do they come in too much that you can't make money? Where's the points in there that you would want to look at? So I've been building all this data. As I say, I've now got like 50,000 games that I've been able to build this on across multiple markets. So this sheet, all the games, the 8,000 games, if you look at it up here, it loses 233 points. And that's the return for that market. So draw lay there, 0.98, over 2.5, back 102, back in the home team lost -1. So that's basically how it's done. So this return is the return per market. But what I did was pull in all the markets up here. From FTS Data Advanced. So a second half goal loses 283 points. Both teams to score loses 29 points. Because this is built on certain odds brackets and profit and XG brackets, laying under 0.5 goals actually wins. First half 1.5 loses 285. Laying under 1.5 loses 428, and back in over 2.5 loses 57. That's kind of what you'd expect. This one's a bit of an outlier, the 0.5 goals, but that again, the data that's pulling these games in. It is higher XGs and things like that. But what is kind of what you'd expect, because obviously commission over time will beat you up. But if we just go with the games that have come in, so we ignore everything else and go with the games that have come in, and I click that, you'll now see the sheet doesn't lose 233 points. It only loses 3. Second half goals have shot up to 110 points profit from 200 odd points loss. Lay in the first half goal was 100 and something. It's 200 something. If you remember, this was minus 200 odd. It's now minus 35. So it's been able to pull in, and just following the market makes a significant difference in performance, just blind. You're not going to win if you back every market where it moves in. So remember, these have all been pre-programmed. But what it's been able me to do then is to go in and make some macros, really target into areas, take out some leagues like the Dutch Erste, where we know that, there's goals in Holland, Pat, as you said. So I've got things, for example, I'll click Klinsmann, which is laying under 0.5 first half goals. So I can click that. And out of 327 bets, laying a first half goal, that's 184 points. But you can see what it does to the other markets as well. Laying under 1.5 wins, first half 1.5 wins, second half wins, both teams to score wins. So I've been playing around with this and doing some work with it. As I say, I've got 4 of these sheets. I've got a ton of macros running on them, and I'm pulling out a load of bets from them. And some of that is what now goes into the Telegram free bets to give you a little taster of it. And this is one that I'm playing with at the minute, which is Ian. If I clear that first, which is a market I've struggled to beat, and I've talked about this in podcasts for the last 4 years. Both teams to score. It's been one of those markets that's been an absolute pain in the arse. But I've started building that out this last couple of months, and you see I've only got, in the macro filter, I've got like about 400 or 500 games, both teams to score. In the macro filter, I've got 90 games now, which would have been qualifying bets, where the both teams to score has moved in, and the results are looking really promising. Second half goal, 42 points, both teams to score 21 points, laying under 0.5, 41 points, laying under 1.5, 44 points, backing over 2.5, 24 points. So it's all looking really promising. Pulling obviously in this data, which is, as I say, it's all pre-filtered. So I'm basically going into my main sheet and going, find me games in XG bracket X to X, odds brands X to X that have got this many games and created this amount of profit. So some of them you can see have got a lot of games created 43 points profit. I'm not interested in stuff that loses. And then following whether that market moves in. If it drifts, I just ignore it. If it moves in, it helps me. So just wanted to show that off, because this is something that you guys need to start paying attention to, and it's something that we're going to build into. We're building into FTS as we move forward. So what I now do, I run all these. You see I've got 2 versions of everything. I've got an actual results one, and I've got a pre-match one, because obviously I don't know whether anything's going to move in. So this basically captures them all, and it gives me a list of games. So you can see today I've got these games, and all I'm doing at the minute is marking and making notes and following. Why do I lay some markets and back others, is a question from Goober. I just always have. I predominantly was a layer, Goober. I'm not a massive fan. I'd rather lay at 4 than back at 1.25, just because I started off laying the draw for 3 years. So because I got so into laying, because that's all I did, I'm a lay under 1.5. I'm a lay under 0.5 first half goal. I just always have been. Other people might want to back the overs in those markets. For me, I've just been... in those markets, I've just always been a layer. Ultimately, it's the same thing. You'd risk, if you want to lay at 4, you'd lay and risk 300, or you can have 300 on over 1.5 that way. But I was a natural layer, just because I started out laying the draw for so long. So all I'm doing now is going through, keeping an eye on these, and the Holston Kiel Hoffenheim game is the only one. You can see I've marked it blue. That's because the only one so far where both teams to score has been backed in. It is already 3-0 in that game. These games are generating goals incredibly, to be honest. I mean, I've showed you the results of all the markets. But these other ones that aren't marked, they've been played. Both teams to score drifted or stayed the same, and I just crossed them off. So why have I told you that? Because I'm now incorporating the same mentality into my in-play stuff. So what I'm doing now, and I've started with the over 2.5 market. Somebody asked me why aren't there many in-play bets in the room, let's make this one bigger. Because I've looked at that setup. I don't want to put in there just bets for bet's sake and a load of old shit. So what I've done now is I get this sheet at 7 in the morning, and all I'm doing is marking whether over 2.5 gets backed in or stays the same. And I mark the ones that come in. So far today, I mean, I've deleted the morning games, but of the stuff that we've got going on at the moment, these are the games where over 2.5 has been backed in from its morning price. So that's the morning price. When we got to 5 minutes pre-kickoff in this game, it was shorter. And they are the games that I'm now focusing on in play. So we've had 40, 50 games go off here this morning, but I'm only interested in these ones where the over 2.5 comes in. So I'm going to stop the share now and flick to the in play tool. So hold on a second. No questions on that? No, good. Thank you. Only goobers. Hopefully I answered that for you, goober. Stop screen. How do I do that there? Just keep forgetting how this all works. Hello. Hope you will. Right. So, right. Let's get that one now. There. And share. What's that? I need to do one. I need to keep that list of games. Hold on, I'll be back with you in a second. Let's get that. Would you advise I do it on the beginner 1.5? I am looking at that right now, Google. That may well become something that I'm going through the results of that. I hope to get it done this week. So it may well see that there's a little tweak to that where I say, ignore the games that drift. We want to beat 2.75 and come in. I will get that done this week and confirm it for you. I've got a bit more time. I always say I've got a bit more time. It never quite works out like that, but I have got a bit more time this week. I just want that shit there so I know what games we were looking at. Right, now I can bring that in play tool up. Let's get that up there. Present. Share screen. Window. Right, so this is, as you know, again, I've mentioned this sort of stuff many times. We're trying to move to a digital online platform for you. It's not going to replace FTS, but work hybrid along it. And the one we've been showing you is the in-play tool here. So the game that I'm interested in at the minute is Holston Kiel, which you can see we're getting to 60 minutes. There is value here for goals. So we'll let that get to 65. And then we'll just have another look at that. There is value for more goals still. And that's good to see because it was backed in already. But we've added some changes. So for those of you who haven't been there, this isn't all finished yet. So it's not, it's something that we've got to test. But the old headmasters, he's probably going to bollock me for bits here, but I'll get some wrong. But we now, if you remember, those of you who watched this before, we had the filters up the top here. You can now have match odds. So we can do home, draw, and away. And we can also do the goal markets. But you can add whatever goal markets you want. So now, if you wanted to look at over both teams to score, for example, you can have that in there. If you wanted to look at the over under 4.5, you can look at that, laying under 4.5. So you can add it in as you wish. So you've got back odds and lay odds. But all the markets could go on here, and all it will do is, if you add too many markets, as in it goes across, you could just I can go back and you can put those in, draw, lay. All you do is get a scroll bar at the bottom. So at the bottom here, you'll just get a scroll bar and you're able to look. And if you click off it, so if I click here, I've got an odds movement page, and then I click back on it, it remembers your settings. So for people who are doing this individually, it will remember your settings for you, and you'll be able to look at the markets that you want to look at. You'll be able to basically personalize it to yourself when we get to that stage. We've only just added this this week, so it was trying to work out how to do it. We had to pay for a bit of software that enables us to do this. So I'm just going to take some of those out again. I'm going to take the draw lot, I'll leave the over. I'll take that one out. Unders back. Take both teams to score back. So I'll just get back on. Where's that under 4.5? Let's take that out as well. So we've just got the next goals for the markets. Okay, that's good. Yeah, so we're able to get ourselves into this situation. What you will be able to do then is also click games and filter, and you would be able to select, and it will keep the ones that you select. So I've only selected the one game there, so you'll be able to keep the 90 plus 2 Martin Wadey. Look at that. So I'm going to remove all and get that back to where we were. So you'll be able to select your games that you want to focus on and get rid of them as well. So that's basically where we're going. But what I tie that in with then is you'll be able to access this page, so, and use it in Harmony. So this is exactly the same, and you can add the column on, but you've got whether the price moved in or out. So in effect, I can reference this without leaving the site. I can reference this and go, I want the over 2.5 column. You might only want that column. I've got the over 2.5 column, the green ones that are moved in. So when I'm referencing the in play tool, when I go back on there, I'm only interested in, for me personally, you might want to ignore my advice completely. I'm trying to make a case for improving your trading. I try and share stuff with you, is that the odds movement, if it moves in the gold market, so you can make it market specific. If you want to back first half 1.5, you might want that to move in. At the minute, for you guys, I'm just taking a general approach. Obviously, this is an ongoing build at the moment of looking up when the over 2.5, obviously that's the most dominant gold market. So that's the one I'm looking at. And that is why when you come here and look at it and go, well, actually there's 4 games there, but the over 2.5 only moved in one of them. That's why at the minute you're not going to get a ton of games. I will expand it out to other markets, but when I'm posting stuff in the in-play room, I'm only focusing on ones where the over 2.5 moves in. And obviously that is filtering out a lot of games. But it's going to give us a much better strike rate over time and much better profit. Right, so now we can look at these games. Any questions, feel free to crack on. I don't even know what's happening in the football now. I took my eyes off the ball. Right. Bochum at Leipzig 3-3. That game that I talked about. Right, so Holstein Kiel Hoffenheim. So you can see we've got the 65 minutes. There is value for another goal. There's not value for another 2 goals, 4.4, 4.3. This is one where it backed in. So this is one that I would wait now. If nothing happens, I'd wait for a single goal. So I'd wait till this gets to 2.0x. So we'll just keep an eye on that. Obviously, as that price goes up, this refreshes every 15 minutes. So we'll keep an eye on that one. We then have got Dender Sokol Bruges. Interesting, right? So there was a question in the Telegram room earlier about red cards. I don't pay, if I'm doing set and forget betting, I don't pay any attention to red cards whatsoever. I don't, if I'm in something, if I've backed first half 1.5 and the red card in 5 minutes, I don't go in and close that position. I don't have that data. I have no numbers to decide whether that red card is good, bad, or indifferent. But obviously, if you're not in a trade, so that Dender game has had a red card, but these numbers are just based without the red card. So these are just based on what's happened in that before. And Dender was backed in. But that's B1. You've got to make that choice yourself, right? Are you going to enter games with red cards and just ignore them? And if you are, then you've made that decision and you enter it. Or are you not going to enter it because there's a red card, which are perfectly bad. I'm not criticizing anybody for not doing that. You've got to be happy in yourself, Bamsy. It's got to suit you. My point with most people who make statements about red cards is exactly what I put in the newsletter yesterday. People who say that derbies are closer, people who say that relegated teams are all of a sudden going to, or teams fighting relegation are all of a sudden going to start winning games. You haven't really got the data. So what they do is take single anecdotal instances and go, oh, I knew I wouldn't win that bit because there was a red card. They forget all the 50 games where there was a red card and more goals came. So you've just got to be really clear in your head what you're doing. What do these boxes do here? So basically what this does, this looks at, if you look at what I did with the other sheet where I had odds brackets of between 1.76 and 2.5, what this does, basically, if you turn all that off, it just ignores all that and it looks at the number of games. So it just widens everything out. what this does is put them in specific odds brackets. So it will look at when, let's say, I don't know what Liverpool were today, but let's say they were 1.5, it's and Brentford were 6. It's basically looking at games where Brentford were between 6 and 6.5 or 6 and 7. I think it goes out to a tick from there. Those 2 ticks, 6 to 8 will be for Brentford. So that's what it does. So that's what that does. And the same for the over 2.5. So basically it looks at if over 2.5 in this game was between 1.51 and 1.75, that's what it's looking at. So it's just all the time it's scanning. When it's scanning the games, it's going, what brackets is that in, and does it. I do, and somebody asked, could you lay prices that drift? Yeah, that's why we've built the lay odds section in, because that's where I'm at now, is looking at that side of it. I've spent a lot of time on the backing side. I've built myself a load of systems. I'm now betting them. The lay side, we didn't have, I mean, those of you sort of joined every week, we didn't have lay prices on here. Now we've got the ability to add them. It's most certainly something I will do. I did have them on the Excel version of the lay tool, and I used to talk about that. It's fantastic for laying things like over 3.5 when it's drifted, even over 2.5. Early doors is looking really beneficial. So yes, this game here, Holston Kill. So you can see now we're getting value. It's small value just there, but there's big value on another goal. It's 1.75. I will 100%. That would be a game that will go in the room. It won't go in the room because I'm talking to you and I've only got one pair of. You can't see me. I just wave my hands as if you could see me. You can't see me. I've only got one pair of hands, so you can't see me. But then we've got Derby Watford is the next one down. Derby Watford. Oh, there it is. So there's value Derby Watford at half time. So that's one we'll keep an eye on until 60 minutes. There's tiny value in another goal, value in 2 more goals. So we'll just keep an eye on that. Sheffield United Norwich is 1-0. No value on another goal again, so we'll keep an eye on that one. Bolton versus Cambridge, that got backed in. Now here's an example. So this is white, and this goes back to your question, Phil. Basically, we've got an XG of 3.82. So you can see if I hover it, it's basically gone 3.51 to 4 there. So it said in League One when we've got 3.51 to 4, but we've got 3.51 to 4, and the combination of everything, home team odds, over 2.5 odds, high XG bracket, and there being 3 goals in the first half, 1.2. There is actually only one game where that criteria has been met, and it just goes white. Anything less than 10, it just goes white. Basically, I ignore them. Because, you know, it's a ridiculous sample size. If I take everything off, we've got 5 games. So without the filters, there's an example of what I was explaining to you there, Phil. There's 5 games without the filters where it's been 2-1 at half time, but with them on, there's only a single one. So Bolton Cambridge we can bin because it's not enough data. Reading Stockport was the next one. We've got a Stockport fan on FTS, haven't we? Reading Stockport again, white 2-0 at half time. So I can bin that one. So all of a sudden you end up with a real targeted list, and that's why there haven't been a ton. Brentford, Liverpool was, where was that up here? Was it Brentford, Liverpool 0-0? Look at the XG. See, obviously Liverpool been firing in goals, and Brentford one of the highest scorers at home, aren't they? So there's no value there. Again, only 2-3. Obviously, the market wasn't expecting 0-0 there. So we'll bin Brentford, Liverpool. So we've got Holston Kiel, Dender. There's a red card, so you'd need to pay attention to that. Derby, Sheffield United. And then coming up half time, we've got Leganes, which is 0-0 and looking at no value. And Eldense Cadiz, which again is 1-0. No value in a single goal, value in 2. So the games I'm focused on at the minute, Eldense Cadiz has just had another goal as I speak. Is this Holston Kiel game when this gets to 2? I wondered where you were. Here he is. For those of you who don't know, it was the big Welsh derby today, Cardiff versus Swansea, and we have both colours on the old website. I was thinking of you, Mark Manfield, when the goals were going in, 0-0 at half time. Cardiff, I think. Well, I saw it 3-0. I don't know whether it finished 3-0. Bluebirds smashed the peg sellers. There you go. See, teams I just wouldn't have any interest in. So Holston Kiel, this is my first bit of action, and then I'm going to move. I'm going to keep an eye on that Dender game at 0-1, but remember there's a red card, and I'm going to be looking at Derby and Sheffield United through the second half. All I'm ever trying to do is give myself logical reasons to have a bet, value reasons to have a bet, and get big lists of games down to concentrated areas that don't overwhelm me. And I'm sitting there. Fixed odds, I don't mind. We can bot it and send 50 bets a day. I've got a load of bets going on today because it's the first proper full program since after Christmas. And obviously, those of you who deal with me who've seen extended lists today. But that's fixed odds, and I just, they're botted, they're running. I've got no control over them. I'm not interested in them. Just let them do their thing. And the variance of those will play out over 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. But this stuff here, it's choices now. Everything now is a choice to enter. And this is where people can do their brains because they don't make sensible choices. They run away trying to bet on every single game. Football is a low scoring game. And once you get that in your head and pick your spots and accept the variance, you've got more chance. And all I can say to anyone trading football, if you now start paying attention to what the odds do, and we'll be able to play it, and I'll be able, when we get all this up, I will be absolutely 100% proving to you that what I've just told you works and showing you why drifters don't work. I've got all the numbers to back it up, but you'll be able to have access to that page, which basically gives you it in an instance. And this just runs through the day. So even for games later on, it's showing me what's happening now. And then, so Arsenal, for example, 1.59 this morning, they're 1.66. They're on the drift. Good. And then when it gets to 5 minutes pre-kickoff, they just lock the game. It locks on those prices and it turns grey there. But that just tells us what's happening. So you can see the over 2.5 column is going to be this one here. There's not many games, even though you go down later. There's still not many games where you've got a load of green. So, yeah, but let's get back there. Let's get that Holston Kiel game up. 1.50, 1.83. We'll just sit here and let that get to, you can put your bet in over 3.5, 2.0x. I'm not saying there's going to be a goal. I'm telling you that there's value to play that position. And if you play that over time, those positions, you will make money. Remember what I posted on Tuesday, which again is all part of this to try and help people. Late goals only happen about 40% of the time after 80 minutes. If you listen to Twitter or X or whatever it's now called, it's Twitter, you'd think they happen 99 times out of 100. Even from people who are fairly sensible, to be fair. Got any questions? Ask away. I don't know how long we've been on air. How long we've been? All that in half an hour. Okay, well, we can just sit and play these few games. Sheffield United's just kicked off. They've beaten Norwich, yeah, giving Norwich a pasting. Chris Wilkinson, none of that in Norwich. West Ham Palace, see, that was a big drifter, 0-0. Just, I never think I'm smarter than the markets. At what point would you dabble on another strategy? I'll do Goobers first. No, I mean, that's the next thing. When we scroll down, is it possible to add functionality to freeze the column headers as you go? Well, that's what we're working on, that, Jimmy. We've only just got the filters and things in. That will be one of the next things. That might be where he's gone when he said he had to go. That might be what he's gone to work on. But we're going to try and find a way to freeze that. So yes, when you scroll, well, no, it does. Look, he might well have done. Look, as I'm scrolling, it's not moving. That's what he must have gone and done. So that's what we've, yeah. So there you go, Jimmy. There you can see that header's not moving. Unbelievable, Jeff. Yes, so that is on there. Norwich United Spurs not good. Goober, yeah, I mean, the problem with a bot for us, it's the support around it when somebody goes wrong or Betfair goes down on a Saturday. That's the bit that we. I think he just remembered that, Jimmy, when he was in here. I think he was in here and thought, "Oh, I haven't frozen those headers. He's going to talk about it," and he's gone off. He's legged it to do it. Yeah, the problem. That's the problem. Everybody having individual bots. If it goes down, if something, let's say Betfair goes down, it's having at 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Obviously, Kerry would get like 50 people. My bot's not working, and having the support around that. That's one of the issues. I have got a box that, you know, Alistair's built does a lot of my betting, but rolling it out is one of the areas that we need to look at. And we will. It's all in the sort of huddle of what we want to do. And what was the other one? What would you dabble on another strategy? When we get, I mean, the next step of this will be letting a small focus group have a go with it. Don't know when I'm being honest, I don't know when we're going to get to that stage. February, it might be March. They'll feed back stuff, and then we'll sort of get to a final product from there, final setup, and then I will be making a load of videos on stuff like that. Sam, you know, I'm like whatever I say, I always say to people, less is more. Since I've been showing this, I've said that people will go off and bet every green square. What I say becomes irrelevant, but I will be putting together, perhaps with Neil Penny, some really good videos, or Neil may be doing some videos. I'll just tell him what to do on that side of it, on how to use it, best practices and stuff like that. Because, you know, you can have every column up and you could be clicking away for fun, but you probably won't make any money. So at the minute, I focus on exactly the stuff I say. I'm kind of looking 60. I do look at half time, but I've been kind of looking 60 minutes onwards, 1 and 2 goals ahead when the over 2.5 price has moved in, and it chugs along nicely. Of course, not everyone wins, but you just chug along and do it. Right, Holston Kill, you now got to 2.06. So 2.06 on 79 minutes. So if you wanted to back another goal there is value. I couldn't put you off it. There's been a couple of goals in the Premier League. I won't mention them because I know people have their flipping fire sticks on. Basuma to score an own goal. Only way Everton will win. If Basuma scores an own goal, Johnny, you can have a prize. I can't put it off him. He's absolutely, he's terrible. But go with the advice. Everton will score because Dr. Spurs will cure Dominic Calvert-Lewin tomorrow. Do not worry about that. Everton will win tomorrow. We are garbage, and we are particularly garbage away from home. We won 5 away games in 2024. That was it. We won 9 games of football since August, I think it was. Since April, Tottenham. I think they won 9 games in the league since April. And obviously, you had the summer break, but since the 1st of April, quite phenomenal. Absolutely fucking useless. Don't get me going. Basuma. Old Suggsy, he gets me going on him. He is absolutely shite. I've seen some shite down at Spurs, and he is right up there. Somebody actually in the response to that pod yesterday obviously went on ChatGPT and typed in what does Yves Basuma do, and ChatGPT's given them a printout. It will get featured in next week's pod. All I'd say is if you're relying on ChatGPT for your life, I'd go and look at yourself and perhaps change your direction. Because ChatGPT's views on Yves Basuma are not, what I'd say, not accurate at this stage. He'll get the full treatment next Friday. Yeah, he did. He did, Jimmy. What a conversation that was. What a goal. What a comment. Thought I'd prefer Grog. Yeah, very good. Very good. Your old Macca. Old Macca Musk. You mentioned him the other night. When did we last go to football? You mentioned Elon Musk, actually. He said, you're watching the football, I'm going to mention the name. But he said, I won't do it while you're watching the football to spoil it. I said, go on. He went, Elon Musk. I went, Monumental Bellend. Grog. Big Angie's apparently looking to sell Basuma. Good, I'll drop him anywhere. Give him away. I mean, I know he says he's had to play him. I don't believe he has had to play him, but he is absolutely terrible, Basuma. Oh, Sam, you ain't getting away with any of that, son. We're having that podcast next month. I'm going to pin you down. I think we should do it live from the pub. Rather than do it on a Zoom, we'll go and I'll bring some mic and a laptop up. We'll do it live from the Benjamin. I like you when you've had a few beers, you start talking complete nonsense. Like those goals seem to have stood in the Premier League. I've given you enough windows, but West Ham are losing. And Leicester City. Oh, Rude, it's not working out quite so well for Rude, is it? We'll cure them. They come to Spurs soon. Ipswich turned up, they hadn't won. Palace, we played them when they hadn't won a game. Leicester haven't won for ages. We'll fix them next. But old Rude is not looking. Oh, Damo thinks you get a bit intense. He's a good lad, Sam. Not many gooners I like, but I like Sam. He's a good lad. I enjoy his company when he's having a beer. Wigan taking the lead. Old Mark will be leading round. Brentford holding Liverpool. Oh, this ain't good, is it? It's not good. You never thought me wanting Liverpool to win, but flipping Brentford's draw and the old Gooners get a win over Villa. Holston Kiel 1, Hoffenheim 3. There you go. All I can do is tell you. See, didn't put that one in the room because we were on here. So then all the people in the room who back the next one will have a go at me. I can't win. That's why I don't like giving tips out. See how we got a little blank here? Look, the over 3.5 shut. This will update in a minute. I've walked you right through all the thinking for that game. There you go. Gooners will beat you a lot, son. Don't worry. Don't you worry about that. They'll beat old. I know you're gonna come in and try and defend your troops, but you ain't getting naffle there today. There you are, 1-3. Right, so we can bin that one. We can now move on to the other ones we were looking at, which are Derby, Watford, which you can see is not value. So at the minute, we'll run it forward. And Sheffield United, Norwich, which also is not value at the minute, but we'll run it forward. To be fair, nothing has been value much in the Championship because between them, I mean, look at it now. 0-0, 0-1, 0-0, 0-0, 0-1, 1-0, 0-1. They seem to have. I don't know when they made the goals smaller this year. There will be an influx of goals at some time in the Championship, but it's painful at the moment, isn't it? And there's fine evidence of it. Look at that. 3-4 goals in what, 8 games, 7 games, and you're 60 minutes in. Absolute garbage. Our Portsmouth Middlesbrough time's gone a bit pear-shaped. The old headmaster needs to have a look at that. Luton may well be value, but I'm only looking, if you've been listening from the start, I'm only looking at games where the over 2.5 is shortened pre-kickoff. So, and in that game it didn't, it drifted. So that's my look now to check, which helps me filter out games and focus where I want to focus. So that's why, whilst you're seeing green there, it didn't shorten pre-kickoff. So I'm going to run these games. Sheffield United, Derby. We've got Leganes and El Dents. Eldents, and let's get down here. Leganes, Atletico Madrid, red. Eldents. Oh, what? No. Oh, that went 3-0 at half time. All right, so that's yeah, that's gone white because there's not enough games. There's not many games in Segunda that get to 0-3 to the away team at half time. In fact, if you filter that in your database, I bet it is tiny. So yeah, we'll go back up here and we'll wait and see. Obviously, if you get a goal in any of these games, it can change it because we're looking at a different scoreline. The Denda game is value, but remember there was that red card. But we'll keep an eye on Derby and Sheffield United. See if Norwich get an equaliser. It goes 1-1. Yeah, that's why I might, because this is this isn't a this is our own score feed that we've banked. Oh, I'll tell you what, I've just had a lovely goal for me. Nothing to do with this stuff, but I've just had a lovely little goal at Heidenheim. Beautiful. It's just one of my fixed odds. I was quite heavy on lay under 1.5. Little beauties. Amazing. See, they're the ones you got to remember. I had 2 of them today. I've had 2. The Turkey game earlier was the 6 year here. That was 1-0. I got a 90 plus 10 there. Good old Turkey. I'm showing it as if you can see it, and you can't. But the bashing. Yeah. Oh, Sheffield United's gone 2-0. Norwich didn't get an equaliser. They've let another one in. So this will all rejig in a minute, and we'll see if there's any value there for another one then. Got myself all a little bit excited with that Heidenheim goal. Medical emergency at Portsmouth, was there? Yeah, that's why our feed's all gone a bit spouty with that time. If you made some money out of the Holston Kiel game, would it kill you to like and subscribe? We've still got our one guy who goes on and dislikes everyone. I just admire him. I've got nothing. I'd love to meet him and buy him a beer. I just admire the pettiness of it. But Holston Kiel won. Hoffenheim 3. If you did do that, like and subscribe, and then that'll make me come back and do it again. Right, where's that? Sheffield United. Okay. You can see the market's changing. It's gone 104, so it's just picking it up. Now we're getting a bit of adjustment. It'll fire through. Go 2-0, and we'll get a little bit of a check-up. Give it a minute or so to settle down and see if there's any value to be had. Dender's had a goal. Yeah, see, just talked about that with the red card. They're all coming in. Bender. It might be, yeah. Perhaps it's Eve coming on disliking the podcast and disliking the YouTubes. Heavily involved in Brentford over 2.5, but chances after chances and no goal. In at the start, short price, so about 1.3 something on it, over 2.5. Not for me, that. Not for me, that kicking off. So I can always kind of take a contrarian view. If you look at the, very good, yeah. If you look at the, I've forgotten about that. If you look at the XG here, 6.99, which is obviously collated from what these two teams have done. Brentford have been high scoring at home. Liverpool, obviously, within the league, scoring goals. But I always look at contrary because I think, well, that can't just keep going up. We don't get that's going to get to 8s, 9s. So I always think there's going to be a couple of games where it's a bit quieter. When I see very big XG numbers, I always kind of look the other way a bit. Right, so you can see this 2-0. They've chalked off my Heidenheim goal. Look at that. In VAR, shouldn't be allowed. All right, well, never mind. I got away with one earlier, so can't win them all. Coventry have just taken the lead. Bayern Munich, Wolfsburg got one back. Has Old Kane scored today? No. Goretzka's got a couple. He's done well that at least since going there from. Oh, so Paulie have got a goal now. Oh, don't do this to me. This is why I don't watch results. This is why I don't watch results, because people who live this and go up and down, up and down, up and down, the emotions of it. Hey, Scott Blaber, he'll be lurking behind you somewhere. This is why I don't do it, because you just live every one. It just puts you, oh, great. Oh, no. Oh, another one. And if they chalk that one off, flipping heck. Can't, everyone calls him an arse. Shut up, you. Haven't you got a website to be checking? Sheffield United settled down there. You can see 1 point, so there isn't any value. It's gone 2-0, but there's no value there. Derby, Watford isn't. And it is actually being patient, you see, because people are sitting here. We've had one bet. It's just, you've got to, another one of my keywords for people, patience. There is green elsewhere, but I've got a short list of games, which I talked to at the start, why I've gone with these games, because over 2.5 has been backed, and I've shown you some evidence of what happens when the market moves in favour. And I'm just using other people's information. I'm letting the clever people do their punting, and then I'm just drawing on it as a filter for me to have my bets. And if it's not value, it's not value. I'm not going to get involved in a game just because it's been backed in or because it's green. And that's the sort of things that I can try and pass over and hope that some of it goes in. Because people obviously I'm going to join these lives and have loads of bets. There's plenty of other people who do that. Off you go and join them. Honestly, they'll give you bets all afternoon. They'll look at head-to-heads and all sorts. They might be right up your street. We've had one bet, one winner, chugging along, and it's all been explained. And I'll Bolton, look at that. Wigan winning, Bolton losing, it'll be over the moon. The boy he'll be doing that little skippy dance he does around the streets of Wigan looking for William Hill shops. Exeter getting beat. I want Birmingham to win that league. I know it's looking a bit more like it, but I want them to get a pasting. Right, Derby, no. Oh, Leganes have scored against Atletico Madrid, so that's one of ours. So we'll just wait and see what happens if that changes. So we're down here now. As you say, the two games in the Championship were Sheffield United and the Derby game. Nothing there. Leganes have just scored. There is no value, but we'll now see. What we'll do, we'll have a flick at the match odds as well there, because this is one where people like. Obviously, people would expect Atletico Madrid to win that game. They'd have been favourites. And obviously, people like to get involved when a favourite goes behind. People like to, they're going to come back, they're going to score. We can actually flick it to match odds when that one settles down, provided the goal stands. And we'll be able to have a look at the actual reality of that. When will the in-play tool be available? Sorry if this has already been asked. The answer to that is I don't know, Steve. Obviously, we're in development at the minute. I've got access. Alistair's obviously got access. And we've put in the bits that I wanted to see, so like the filtering, the freezing, the lay prices. Neil Penny had a look at it and throw in some stuff to the mix. The next phase of it will be to get a front end on it, better front end. We're going to move away from the cerise pink to Spurs blue, I think, and then have a small focus group of users use it. I'll have to make some videos for them, use it, and report back to us to go, this didn't do that, or could you add that? Obviously, we won't be able to add everything, but just to get bit more input from people who will use it on what they'd like to see. Obviously, the plan would be that I want it ready for next season, but it's just time how long these things take to get developed, built, get the feedback, act on it. But yeah, I mean, the principle of what I would use it for at the minute is working. But for it to actually become available, we've got to link it into a front end. So take money, access, that side of it. Oxford take the lead against Blackburn. Right. Let's have a This goal stood, not fed through yet. Let's see if it feeds through. Just waiting for this to. Yeah, it's gone the over 0.5's gone, so I think our score feed's a little bit slower today, which we've only got this on a development server at the minute. Again, we'll have to scale the server up for maximum usage. Also 3-1. He's good down at that in that lower league stuff. Bristol Rovers beating Barnsley. Mansfield have just got an equaliser against Wickham. Oh, Derby Watford's gone 2-0, so we'll have a look at that one as well. Now, that's just gone 0-2. We'll have a little at that one. You can see the over 1.5 still. We'll just see if there gets any value there. Slightly higher XG than was at the Sheffield United game, so it might be. We'll see if there's a late opportunity there. Right, Leganes Atletico Madrid has settled down, and you'll see there's no value there. But if we go to the match odds one, and you can see now, because most people would see this is what people like. Most people think, oh, Atletico Madrid are going to get back in this, where laying the draw is actually value, but Atletico Madrid to come back and win. You look at the actual reality of it, only 3 times out of 57. Only 3 times out of 57 of games in this makeup where they've come back to take the lead. I'm not saying they won't score, but when you look at it in numbers, people on FTS Advanced, if you go to the full-time, half-time, full-time columns and put 1 in at half-time and put 2 in the away time, it doesn't matter what teams. If you look at that, I think out of whatever we've got in there now, 39,000 games, I reckon it will be about 1,000 games where it goes home team winning at home. Home team winning or 2-1 either way, away team winning at half time and the home team coming back to win. It just doesn't happen with, again, it's that perception thing that people think. So in that instance there, and remember this has got the home odds bracket, so it'll be a factor in Leganes home odds bracket there. Obviously another minutes click by, it's only 3 out of 56. So that's why I wanted this feature in there, the match odds, because so many people, even when we've been doing these sessions, remember when Man City were 1-0 down and somebody going, what about a goal at Man City? Because it's just that thing, oh, it's Man City, they always score, it's Atletico Madrid, they beat these people. But the reality of these things, they may well come back and win. But as a punting angle, going in, making punts like that, which is so common in football trading because people just go, oh, it's Atletico Madrid, they must beat them, I'm going to lay Leganes or I'm going to back another goal, whatever it may be. The reality is there's just no value doing that long term whatsoever. And again, it becomes that anecdotal, oh, I told you that would happen because it's Atletico and they win 1. Look at their betting records, over 50, 100, 150 bets. They ain't going to be making any money. Right, let's look at that Derby game and then I'll let you go. I hope you've enjoyed this afternoon. Derby 0-1. No, look at that. See, old Derby's gone 0-3. That's why it's just gone. There's been another goal. Watford are ripping them a new one. Although it's been chalked off. It's gone back to 0-2. But you can see again, Derby only 73 times. Has that gone? Stockport 3-1. 73 games, only 10. Derby Watford. I mean, the Championship is absolutely rancid. Just sorting itself out because that market's suspended. Sheffield United, Norwich. We'll just take that. What we'll do, we'll take that one to 80 minutes because you can see this is getting a bit closer. And there's value on the 3.5. We might get value on a late goal at Sheffield United, Norwich. We'll just have a look. Stevenage value. Let's have a Stevenage here, 0-1. West Brom just equalised. Flipping Tony Mowbray back. He's another one, isn't he? What a game that football management is, isn't it? Tony Mowbray. He must have done nearly every club in the Championship by now. He's back at West Brom. I don't know that will derail their chances of coming up. West Ham Palace, the Drifters were right. Value, but that drifted like a barge this morning. Yeah, Derby's not. Just keep an eye on. Just going to keep an eye on these two through to the 80-minute mark. Derby and Sheffield United. See if they flip into any value at all. And then I will leave you be, and you can go and watch your. It's not Jeff Stelling, whoever it is, Simon Thomas or something his name is, isn't it? Yeah. Or if you watch the BT still do it. BT do one with flipping. If you watch anything with Chris Sutton on, you need help. To be fair. Well, a little higher than I see. That's why I don't watch results. Lovely. Got myself all excited. Got it taken away, and then they come back and went now. Goals in Germany again. 0-2, 3-2, 4-0, 3-3. Have I watched any TGL? I have, Mark. I recorded the first one just because you're curious. I'll be honest, I thought, I don't know whether I said this in the pod or not, I thought it was going to be absolute shite. But there's bits of it I quite enjoyed. I'm not one, it was a bit like darts, so super loud music and people getting pissed. I think hearing that through a TV, I think if you're there, it's probably really good, but it's not for me as a viewer. But I just thought you need more Norwich bashing with Chris Sutton. He's just not for me, Chris, that boy. You need the characters. That's the thing. You because of the concept of it, and they're mic'd up. You need them to have a bit of banter. I think to keep it as a watchable thing going forward was what I felt, which I quite like. I liked, Shane Lowry was in the one that I didn't watch all of it. I watched about an hour of it, and I thought he was really good, and he was right into it. I just think, while they're all nice lads, but you're going to have the likes of Rose and Zander. They've got to have a bit about them to entertain the crowd that's there and on the TV, because the golf bit kind of gets a bit lost because they're just hitting it into after a while they are just hitting it into a screen, and once you've seen the tech around the green, it all becomes a bit samey. But yeah, it wasn't shit. It wasn't. I thought it's something they could probably grow and take forward. And I imagine being in there would be really quite impressive. To be in the centre itself as a spectator would probably is pretty good. More Norwich bashing. I know that at Norwich. I know that at Norwich. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what everything comes down to money, doesn't it? The TV money with these things, and whether the players stick at it or say, I've done that for a year and sort of turn their backs on it, and then you end up with a second string of players. Which I think one of the things that they've done well is get some decent players in it. The likes of obviously McElroy Woods involved, but again the likes of Zander and Thomas and people like that who are top quality players. Stevenage, Wigan red card. Right. It doesn't look like these games. You can see the gap's grown at Sheffield United. It's gone from 2.79 to 2.18. If I just hold it over, so only 29 games in this setup. Only 29 out of 81 had another goal. And Derby Watford, only 16 out of 38 there had another goal. I'm going to put this up on the screen. This is from the old the deputy head. This is not the headmaster, the deputy head. If you like and subscribe, if you enjoy these sessions, we're open for feedback. Yeah, we are. I'm happy for I'll cover stuff that people want to cover. If you give us suggestions and ideas, if you anything that you want to go over, drop it in, and Kerry can pass it on to me, and I can plan sessions around it. I'm going to do more sessions like this going forward. We're going to use this tool a bit more. I'm going to leave you all now because there is no more value, and you don't want to just listen to me chat away. Let me go there. I can come in and say my goodbyes. There you are. See? Look at that, looking sharp. Thank you all for coming. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope some of you had a little bit on the Holston game, made some money. Hope you understood the bits that I talked through the sheet. You can watch this back so you can go through that. And if you want to have a little cheeky fun bet tomorrow, Dominic Calvert-Lewin to score. It is absolutely nailed on. Right, have a lovely Saturday. Have a lovely weekend. I'll be back with the pod on Tuesday.